My wife told me that her soulmate is someone else. In high school, my wife Ian's best buddy Chuck was introduced to her. Chuck came out to Im as gay, and the two became great friends. Im offered encouragement. Chuck told his parents he was gay about a year later. Chuck spent the remainder of his high school years living with Im and her parents when they shunned him and expelled him. After college, when Im and I started dating, she told me everything about Chuck, including how close they were and how he was like a brother. Chuck and I hit it up right away and became friends. Chuck is a decent man. Chuck was seeing someone at the time, and they moved in together about the time Im and I were engaged. I've been married to Im for the past 5 years, but as a project manager, I just took on a one-year job in a different city. Every morning, I have to leave around 5:30 a.m. and arrive home at 6:30 p.m. Before I started on this project, Im and I had a lengthy conversation about my profession. We were aware that my excessive work hours would come at a sacrifice, yet I'm making more money than I ever imagined. We can pay off our education loans and begin trying for a child after this project is finished. Since it's only for a year, we both felt that the money was worth it. Late November will mark the end of that year. Chuck discovered his boyfriend was unfaithful in March. He was inconsolable. Im told him right away that he could live with us. Although I didn't mind that he moved in, I wasn't pleased that Im didn't even talk to me about it beforehand. Chuck and Im were not dating at all, and Chuck needed Im's affection and attention. Since I am aware of how much she loves Chuck and I knew he needed her, I was okay with it. I also tried my hardest to encourage him and give him a sense of affection. This worked well for a while, but over time Im has continued to give Chuck her whole focus. Occasionally, when I go home from work and neither of them is there, I discover that they went out to a movie or a meal together. Although I don't believe there is a romantic or sexual relationship between them, it has irritated me that I am never included in their plans. Over the last few weeks, a number of things have occurred. Chuck is not our third wheel. Im retorted in response to a joke made about the three of us at the party. What did I say? I've known Chuck longer than I've known you, she remarked. About a week later, Chuck and Im went out dancing one evening. I stayed home because I had work the following day. When I awoke about 3 in the morning, Im wasn't in bed. I went over and discovered her and Chuck asleep on the couch, the TV on. That bothered me in an uncomfortable way. It dawned on me that I had been working excessively. I had not planned a date night in a long time, and I was just kind of letting Im and Chuck organize everything. I scheduled a date night for last Friday after deciding I needed to be more active. Im was thrilled when I first told her because it had been a while since we had gone on a date by ourselves. When I arrived home on Friday at 6:30, Im and Chuck weren't there. I got ready after taking a shower. We had an 8 o'clock reservation, so I eventually contacted Im at around 7:15. She responded, telling me that she and Chuck had gone shopping and were having dinner when I asked where she was. I inquired about our date because I was kind of shocked. Oh, I forgot. Oh, well, and that was that. She laughed. I was not even invited to join them by her. I should thus make this point. My dad used to yell and throw things out of control when he was angry, and he was also very controlling of my mother. Even though he never hurled anything at us, it scared me as a child. I've put a lot of effort into not being like him. I've made an effort to never give Im direction or be in charge of her. When I'm upset, I also have a tendency to get quiet. I didn't say anything when Im forgot our date because I was angry, but I knew I had to talk to her about how I felt. I informed her later that night that we needed to talk. I had jotted down a few points to help me focus. I began by telling Chuck how much I cared and how welcome he was in our house, but that I thought our marriage was hurting and that we needed to work on ourselves. Im lost it. She believed I was going after Chuck. I suppose I didn't say it correctly since she began to attack and protect him. It has never before been so bad between us. We always discuss and resolve issues. That she was attacking me astounded me. She made some terrible remarks. She said, "You just have to get used to the fact that Chuck is my soulmate. I simply gave up." I had no idea how to take that in at all. Though at that same moment I realized Im loved Chuck more than she loved me, I still adore Im more than anything in the world. I had believed that Im and I were soulmates, so hearing her admit that she thinks of someone else as her soulmate has devastated me. The remainder of the conversation escapes me. After a while, she sighed and went to sleep on the couch. On Saturday, she and Chuck left together and spent the bulk of the day away from home. She was acting as if nothing had happened when they returned. She even tried to flirt with me on Sunday by making a little joke and batting her eyes at me. I usually adore it, but this particular instance made me feel ill. I haven't seen her since Sunday night, so I told her that I had a busy work week ahead of me and that I would merely be staying at a motel close to the job site, something I have done a few times before. I have no idea what to do. Writing this has made me realize how exhausted I am after all of this traveling. Perhaps I haven't paid her enough attention and have checked out too much. But given that she would never love me as much as I love her, how can I go on? A small update. I'm feeling hopeful after reading several remarks from women who claim to have more than one soulmate. You only have one soulmate. You only have one soulmate, in my opinion, but Em and I hardly ever use that term. And all I can hope is that she takes it differently than I did. This week we had exchanged some texts, and last night we had a phone conversation. It was not a major event. She told me over the phone that she was missing me and couldn't wait for me to get home. Tonight I'll be at home. I suggested that we discuss our altercation from last Friday, and she consented, stating that she detests our altercation and that we should resolve it. She declared her love for me. Tonight when we speak, I suppose I'll find out where I stand.